When I say Marina, you say Herman. Marina. Herman. Marina. Herman. Thank you all so much for participating in that. And thank you, Marina Herman, for joining the Patreon. It is truly an honor to have you here. And I promise we will do everything in our power to make this a fun place for you and for everyone on our Patreon. If you would like to join, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent. But the reason you were all here, the Snakes on a Plane episode.
Fangs up or fangs down?
Fangs all around, my boy.
Whoa.
You know, okay, so I watched Snakes on a Plane last night.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about it, and...
Oh, God.
Yeah, you did. Well,
where to start?
Well, let's start here by starting the show.
Okay. What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. All right, Snakes on a Plane. So when we were planning to do this episode, you mentioned that it was just a nod to the movie, and I asked, do I need to watch the movie? And you said, yes, probably. So I paid my $3.99 to Apple to rent the movie last night.
I said maybe, honestly. Don't quote me out of context.
Dude, you literally could have just said there's snakes on a plane, no more, no less.
I don't think I was overselling by suggesting it might add context to the music video that is about the movie. So, yeah, let's just do that first. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Reminiscent Podcast, and we're doing the Snakes on a Plane episode because you all wanted us to, and here we are. And I think we wanted to deep down. I think the Fueled by Ramen ensemble pictures are exciting for all of us. A Little Less 16 Candles is our personal favorite to date. Totally. But that doesn't mean we're going to sit here and not acknowledge the existence of the one and only Cobra Starship. But yes, leading into this massive research effort, Tom decided to watch a feature-length film called Snakes on a Plane, starring Samuel L. Jackson and others. And this happened, less than 24 hours ago? It's fresh for you. It was the first time you saw it.
Yeah, I started it at 10 o'clock last night. It's now 10 to 6 the next day. And I had never seen it. I heard people talk about it. In my only recollection of, it would have been high school, right? Sophomore year of high school that it came out. And I think the consensus was, yep, there are snakes on that plane.
Yes.
There are hella snakes on that plane.
Oh, yes.
And not much else. I mean, that is, I'm hesitant to say I live tweeted the experience, but I definitely did fire off some of my favorite lines, some thoughts. There are snakes somehow coming out of barf.
Your favorite times a snake bit a sex organ of a human.
Oh, it got my fucking dick. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh my God. The snakes are biting everything, coming out of everywhere.
I think my takeaway here is the fact that it's become known for the cable edit of Samuel L. Jackson's famous line more than any other part of the movie is pretty telling and fun. But I've had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
What?
That, as far as I can tell, is the most famous thing related to that movie, like in the wake of it over the past decade, 15 years or so.
Oh my God.
Is that is what is dubbed over Samuel L.'s voice when it airs on like TNT. I'm sure they take out the penis snake and stuff too. If I had to guess, I've never sat and watched a full cable edit, but yes, you can make assumptions.
I'm glad you brought up the cable stuff because the only thing I'd ever seen from this movie was on TBS, which for those of you without cable, it would have been Channel 10. It's the only channel that ever played anything good on it. So like of the 12 channels we had, the only one worth a damn. And I guess it would have been around like 2007 or 8 when it was like playing on TV. They showed a preview for it, and I was aware of the line he actually said, but they didn't add monkey fighting or Monday to Friday. They just cut those parts out, and he was like, "I'm tired of these snakes on this plane." And it was like, it just sounded so weird. And it's like, it's one of the things that, in my nursing home at, 95 years old, I'll be saying that line. And there's another one, I don't know what movie it was, but, he says, bullshit. I think they might have also been on a plane, different movie. And the preview, he says, bull spit. So like every now and then when something pisses me off, I'll just say, bull spit, and then laugh. Cable edits, man. I was watching Community the other day, and Shirley, she's like, oh, Reservoir Dogs, that's a really cute movie. I saw it on an airplane once. It's 30 minutes long, and the characters like get breakfast and talk about whatever. It's just like, man, first of all, watching a movie on cable television is the worst experience in the world.
It's interesting to hear you say that. I've seen some millennial Twitter comedians recently, and this means nothing, but recently be like, when they visit home to see their parents and they just kind of spend an entire afternoon watching one feature-length film on cable, they're like, this was nice. There is kind of a hotel, parents' house, cable movie crowd out there that I got to say I can relate with a little bit in terms of if you have nothing to do, literally that little, that you can watch a 1.5 hour movie in a 4 hour span on TV, go for it.
There's commercials every 13 minutes. It is exhausting. I'd rather just get on, the Apple TV and rent the damn movie for $4 and not have to watch all the fucking commercials. It's terrible. It's like, oh God, cable television. What a scam. What a scam. You pay them how much a month to watch a third of what you're watching is actually hashtag content. Anyway, this is not the cable television episode.
I was going to say, how's your week going, man? You seem a little... And you know what I have against cable television? Anyway, we're here to talk about Cobra Starship. Would you call that band, like, let's just talk about the band like a scotch, and sure, you want to go straight into the fast facts?
No, let's do it. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it should be noted that Tom and I aren't active fans. We're doing this because there was a large outcry on Twitter by pretty much as wide of an audience of our followers as we've seen call for one single episode. So I don't know if that speaks to how fueled by ramen-centric our content has been over the past several years or what, but a lot of you like this band. I was definitely curious if you like the song Bring It. Is Bring It a good Cobra Starship song? Do you like Cobra Starship? And of course you like Bring It because... Well, it's kind of like Good Girls Go Bad is another song of theirs that makes me wonder, like, do you go to a Cobra Starship concert expecting those two to, like, be openers or closers or in the encore or whatever? Or are there, like, deeper Cobra cuts that you're really there for and you just acknowledge the ones that are hits? Or are the hits obviously the best ones? Like, I'm a little curious about, like, people have been tweeting at us this week, fangs up, fangs down maybe. I can't really remember. Now I'm getting it mixed up in my head. But whichever the way the fangs are pointed, there seems to be a bit of a subculture surrounding their band and the fandom that you and I have been blissfully unaware of for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah. Not only had I watched Snakes on a Plane for the first time yesterday, I listened to Cobra Starship for the first time yesterday. So
had you heard Good Girls Go Bad at least on like the radio?
No, I had never heard them ever. I didn't know who was in the band. Literally the only thing I knew about them was when I got interested in a lot of the other bands that were on Fueled by Ramen's roster, they were the other band. That's all I knew, that they were on that label as some of the bands that I liked. Never listened to them until yesterday. I gotta say at the top, I don't feel like I was missing a whole lot, but maybe if it were 2006, 2007, and all my friends are playing this while playing FIFA 99 at our friend's house down the road, maybe I would have fucking loved this band. I see the appeal of it. It's fun, but there's no possible way I'm going to connect to it now at age 30, But yeah, I was going into this episode like completely blank slate. Never listened to the band, never watched the movie, never seen a snake, never been on a plane. Just totally fresh.
You've been on a plane. Get out of here.
Snakes too, hundreds of them.
You little jokester.
I fed a snake once. It was awesome.
Wow. Actually, I'm not in a hurry. Tell the story.
Yeah, my wife's friend had a snake in Denver, and it needed to be fed every now and then. I forget what we fed him, but we were instructed to make sure he was to one side of the tank so you can put your hand in the other, because it has been known to bite people, and I could not get that motherfucker out of the middle of the tank. So I just risked it, and everyone turned out fine. He got fed. I kept my hand. It was fine. I actually really want a snake. I think snakes are beautiful. I love them. I think they're cute. You can put little cowboy hats on them and they look even cuter. But yeah, I never held one or anything, I don't think. But snakes are cool.
Yeah, I guess we should cover that. I mean, I can't say I'm a huge snake guy. I wouldn't put that in my MySpace profile or anything back in the day. I would, it doesn't define who I am by any stretch.
Snaky boy.
I would say there was an episode of Home Improvement years ago where a snake came out of the drywall that Tim Allen was putting up and crawled into his shirt. And that image haunted me until now, pretty much. Stories about snakes coming out of toilets, just like,
oh my God,
miss me with that shit. They, the circle of life, nature, delicate balance. I don't want snakes to go away. Do I want to be like near one ever? I'm good if I'm not, I think.
This was a repressed memory that just came up. So many thoughts would have been buried forever had it not been for this show. But when I was 20 maybe, I lived with these two girls in Arlington, and the one girl, Cher, like screamed down the stairs for me and wanted me to come up and look at something. And her cat had carried in this snake that was probably 3 feet long. It was like a little gardener snake, like, there were quite a few in Virginia, weren't super dangerous, but it was coiled into this, like a perfectly circular coil that was maybe, I don't know, a little bigger than a softball. And we thought it might've been dead because it was totally motionless right in front of our door. So I grabbed like a folder or a binder, and I got it on top of this thing. Maybe it was like a piece of paper. I don't know. And I was just going to throw it all out the door to get it out of the house as fast as possible. But then Becky came down the stairs, and I turned really quickly to let her see the snake. And then it fucking jumped to life and crawled into a crack between the door and the wall. And then we never saw the snake again.
Oh, no.
I should have just thrown it out the door, man.
There was a little gardener type snake when we were living in northern Kentucky. And if you're like into snakes, and correct us about whether or not the like North American range for gardener snakes stretches from Virginia to Kentucky, feel free to correct us. I don't really care at this moment, but it wasn't a large snake is really the point here. And I remember I was like, I didn't want it to mess with my dog or whatever. We had just gotten our pup, and it was kind of a tiny dog at the time. So I just dropped a rock on its head and just kind of left it. I didn't want to.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Wait,
I was
like a big rock. You killed it?
Yeah, it was like they were like lining the walk. So I just crushed it.
God.
And I don't know. I didn't want to take the rock off in case I hadn't. It's definitely my like, as a kid, do you step on the anthill and then feel guilty for the first time type story? Like, and then I just kind of left it there, I guess. And
Jesus.
It worked though. It didn't like escape. It decomposed and whatnot. But yeah, it was definitely one of those things where you're just like, that snake didn't deserve that. Like, who am I? Like on a Tuesday, you're just like, oh, I don't want this to get the dog. And then you're like in the driveway for 7 more minutes, like contemplating like too much for a Tuesday morning. Anyway, yes. One thing I noticed about, and we'll get to the fast facts here, I think it's about time, but 2006 is the release. What I thought about, aside from all the snakes, aside from all the planes, aside from all the Fueled by Ramen, roster folks, I thought I was getting shades of like shiny toy guns almost. And so I looked up like when La Disco might have come out. And it's not a direct comp or maybe even a fair one, but like a sound that might have been like at least comparably popular at the time. And La Disco came out in 2006, or at least that album, the album it was off of, came out around that time. So this was, I don't think it's neon, but there was definitely kind of an electronica dancey or something going on that at least put it in context for me in terms of like why this sound would have been wanted or needed or whatever. Obviously, I'm not saying it's bad either. Like, it's obviously so fun and so catchy, but that was just a little bit of like, I'm like, okay, 2006, there was a little bit of danciness going on.
Yeah, what else was going on like this? I have no idea who shiny toy guns are, so I don't get the reference.
You should. La Disco rules so hard.
But yeah, I mean things were getting more and more neon. T-shirts were getting more gooey neon monsters.
Yeah, I think we're like entering the laying the groundwork for like which direction is this going to go, because it's not quite Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge red, black, and white color anymore.
Not quite Shake It either.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, we're testing out what the teens are going to cry for type situations. And it turns out they wanted to put the fangs up, so hey, let them. That's what I say. That's what I say is let them. Let's see. Fast facts, Cobra Starship. Let's just get into it, Tom. Why not? American dance pop band founded in 2006 by Gabe Saporta, formerly of Midtown.
Nice.
The band was headquartered in New York City. Dance pop, there you go. No qualms. No, there wasn't like seemingly any rockier other hits. Good Girls Go Bad and all that. This all just checks out, apparently. Again, Tom and I are coming in pretty fucking fresh to this Cobra Starship experience. Formed in 05, let's see. Founded in 06 and formed in 05 are the first couple of sentences on the Wikipedia page. Which is it, folks? Anyway, I'm guessing they didn't form the year their hit album dropped. Anyway, Midtown bassist Gabe Saporta took a trip to the deserts of Arizona. During this time, he went on a vision quest, spending time with Native American tribes and smoking peyote. He began to create a vision for his new band, a literal vision for his new band, a melodic style of music heavily influenced by synth pop and hip hop, which is probably the worst thing peyote has ever done for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of a vision quest, I guess there's supposed to be this, I don't know, this deep learning, but instead Cobra Starship comes about.
Yeah, how do I say this? Like, movies and TV shows definitely make the peyote experience seem a little more spiritual than I'm going to start a synth pop band. But I don't know enough about any of these topics to elaborate further. Over the next 10 years, Cobra Starship produced 4 albums and 2 Billboard Hot 100 top 10 singles.
Damn.
2006... Obviously, the movie Snakes on a Plane was going to come up today. There was an opportunity set up by the powers that be. The lizard people said, hey, let's record a song for Snakes on a Plane for its soundtrack. And before being written specifically for the film, there was apparently some sort of demo or song being written titled Bring It. Synergy took place in some capacity. Chops, synergy. Along with... Well, here's where the fun starts, right? Fuel by Ramen was like, put them all in there, which is not the first time they did that. And by all of them, I mean specifically William Beckett of the Academy is the very handsome William Beckett of the Academy is.
So handsome. What the
Also handsome and talented Travis McCoy of Gym Class Heroes, who I might make the point later that he low-key saves this song, but more on that later. And Maha Iverson of The Sounds. Very handsome ensemble, I think, heading into this music video, if I dare say it.
It's unfair.
Yeah, I would say so. Sure, Fuel by Ramen is like this. Yeah, too big to fail at this point, I think, is what American Banks and this particular music video, too big to fail. It became Wikipedia calls it a minor hit. I don't know if that's a hot take or what, but either way, they put them all in a recording studio and some sort of hit came out the other end, of course, as we all know. During the recording of While the City Sleeps, We Rule the Streets, which is the album the song can be found on, Saporta was recruiting new members to complete the group's lineup. So it sounds like this was sort of an entertainment industry assembly situation. Thoughts there on what you're kind of gleaning from the notes?
I mean, I'm not really too sure what all to make of it, but I do really appreciate the fact that Fueled by Ramen it seems like they always threw everything they had at the videos. You brought up A Little Less 16 Candles earlier, which is probably the best example of everyone on the roster coming together to make something fun.
Well, it's interesting. Instead of trying to guess whether Panic at the Disco or the Academy was going to fail, they just made them tour together for like 3 years.
Right.
So they're just like, I'd rather not fail at anything. Everyone do all the stuff, which is a fair strategy. Anyway, video directed by Lex Hallaby,
who went on to work on Fast and Furious 9. Oh my gosh, he's done a lot of
That's
Lots of stuff.
100% amazing. I love that factoid. I had not seen that, but that checks out. So like, that's a puzzle piece in my brain. Just like, yeah. That this music video does feel like it should belong in the Fast and Furious universe. Which honestly, I'm surprised they haven't tied Snakes on a Plane into the Fast and Furious universe at this point. Like, why not? Just toss it in there. Say it's canon. Videos featured in the closing credits of the film. And it's just, there was a vision quest. There was a vision. The vision played out. He put the band together as he went. And we have ourselves sitting here 15 years later podcasting about it. I will say this, they weren't just a music video industry band, though, in October of 2006 to tour the album. They supported 30 Seconds to Mars on their Welcome to the Universe tour, which doesn't feel like a stupendous pairing, but sure. It's a very 2006 pairing. I kind of love it. Any thoughts? Were you at any of those shows? I have a feeling you weren't. Yeah.
No.
But that's a hell of a 1-2 punch.
I don't get it, but I'm sure everyone had a lot of fun. Lots of different things to feel that night at that show.
Things were felt. I think we can say that much.
Oh boy.
Let's just go right into the music video. But before we do, I do want to highlight what I felt were the 5 best comments on this YouTube video.
YouTube comments?
Yes. Okay. I think it adds some context here. Paula G. This crossover was the Infinity War of my emo days.
Nice.
I'm into it. I guess we've been talking about the Fueled by Ramen crossover stuff for a while now. People seem very almost borderline thankful.
Yeah.
As am I, right? Shelby C. Pete Wentz is such a proud dad in this video. Which I guess is a bit of a spoiler alert, but not really. Obviously all these dudes and dudettes were in the 16 Candles video. So there's a quick shot of Pete we'll get to later. Someone named Brittany said, I worked at the movie theater when this ran, and the ushers would argue over who got to clean the theater because the credit song, this was the credit song and it was lit.
That's awesome.
Yes. Every time I hear stories about people who worked at a theater in high school or college, I get real jealous because I feel like it was just kind of the best situation to have the greatest, I guess, pre-job stories.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Our friend Adam, who was in our band, worked at the Nice Theater in town, and I was always a little jealous. I thought that seemed like a cool
Tinseltown.
gig. Actually, we talk about Ryan a lot, who's one of the main music Sherpas of the show. And when we moved to DC together for school, he worked at the movie theater across the street at the mall in Arlington, Virginia, at the Boston Mall, and he quit halfway through his first shift because he said there were just rats everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe not all the movie theater jobs are that glamorous, but I think they wanted him to cut his hair, and he had real emo bangs. He had to wear the black visor. He didn't love that, and just rats, copious amounts. So.
Don't love that. That's for sure. L said, never going to get over that little look William and Gabe give each other. More on that later.
Oh.
And a comment by NC Saint, which represents, I would say, 80% of the comments in this YouTube comment section. I aspire to one day be as beautiful as William Beckett was in this video. And that's pretty much some combination of people pretty much just fawning over William Beckett in this video, which is either mean or makes sense or both. But I think throughout the course of our podcast's existence, we've tried to piece together why exactly the Academy wasn't one of the, I guess, more wildly successful, but maybe we're just judging them too harshly because not everybody can be Fall Out Boy. And it depends how you define Panic at the Disco's success, because they're not really Panic at the Disco anymore. And they weren't really after that first album or two. So maybe they were wildly successful, right? They toured a 10-year anniversary of an album that we talked about recently and things like that. But we're definitely getting a glimpse into what they saw in him or the band, because everyone in this comment section is just William. And it's not even his music video. He's just in it. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they didn't get as big as people were hoping, it's not for lack of appearance or looks.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
sure.
hey, this is going to be great. Samuel L. Jackson's in the video. It's like Fueled by Ramen's like, yeah, well, we're still going to bring in the kid. Like, who's the kid? It'd be like, you'll know it when you see him. It's like, I can't afford this shit to go sideways. So where's Beckett? Is he in Europe with Panic at the Disco? Bring him back just for the shoot, and we'll send him back to Europe. Just put him in front of every teen in America.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Please allow me to interrupt the episode and thank our top-tier Patreon supporters, our Council of Elders. In this group, we have Andre Prevost, Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Anonymous, Chris Lukey, Nathan Eshelman, Drew Edwards, and Carrie Sanchez. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. You are contributing to some really fun stuff that we've been working on for months behind the scenes, and it's going to be rolling out here so shortly, and I can't wait. Really, we're trying to do a lot of fun stuff with all the contributions from our 25 Patreon supporters. If you, dear listener, would like to check out the Patreon, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent to see the 3 tiers that we offer, and you can be part of the In Club that gets weekly post shows, behind the scenes videos and photos, monthly video AMAs, and all kinds of fun stuff. Again, that's patreon.com/reminiscent. But now, back to the episode.
Yeah, one thing I did want to touch on was, every once in a while we come across music videos that coincide with movies, all in kind of different ways and varying amounts of like involvement. Yeah. It seems like kind of a mess when it does. It was interesting speaking with Shane Drake when he did the Decode video for Twilight, but wanted it to be really just a Paramore video that fit seamlessly into the story and everything like that. He seemed to be very thoughtful about it. We've seen campier, I guess, more playful ones where I'm Just a Kid and Simple Plan was The New Guy, I think was the movie. And then Teenage Dirtbag, of course, was one of the earlier ones we did. Thoughts on this? This is pretty directly tied into the video. Like, this might be the most like at least the Decode video does stand on its own. I don't think you would know what the hell's going on here if you didn't also know that there was a feature-length movie called Snakes on a Plane and that the characters in this music video were working for the fictional characters in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen really bad versions of the movie tie-ins where it's just a band performing and then they splice in clips from the movie. I think Spider-Man videos have been, maybe it was like a Yellow Card video or something.
We haven't covered Vindicated yet, but I think that's the one off that famous Spider-Man 2 soundtrack, which I know like we've for years said we're going to get to, and we will. But yeah, it's pretty much just like Chris Carrabba doing his thing, which is incredible. And then there's just like a shot of a car flying through a coffee shop window and Peter Parker saving Kirsten Dunst. And then it's just like teary emo mixed in with shattered glass and stuff, which I guess isn't too big of a stretch based on how dramatic the decade was, like Welcome to the Show type stuff. But it still feels a little forced and odd. I think there was also like a Nirvana music video for the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack. Or no, sorry, Nickelback. And it's the same thing. It's just more music spliced with, Doc Ock and shit. I don't know.
I'm also not sure if those are fan-made or if those are like official videos, but it's interesting because I think this was actually like a pretty good version of like, they kind of remade it and showed a little bit more of something that wasn't quite in the movie. And I thought the like film star cameos were really, really funny. Like Samuel L. Jackson is just there reading a paper. But you're right. If you didn't see the movie and know the plot, this video would almost make no sense because it's just like it's a microscope on one small part of the video. There's no, and honestly, just like the movie, there's not really a huge payoff or resolution at the end. It's just they get them on and they're at the gate and it ends. So I don't know really who this video is. Again, who is it helping? Like, did the studio help pay for some of this to further promote the film? Are they just trying to piggyback off the success of the movie, which I don't think it was even, that successful?
Yeah, who's helping who here is kind of my main question for this whole episode that we're not going to answer. But we'll just call it synergy. Also, my apologies. The Nickelback Spider-Man situation did happen, but it wasn't for Spider-Man 2. Just wanted to be clear about that. Okay. So yeah, they're walking through the airport. Snakes on a plane. Pardon my French, but f*** them. I don't care. That's what the lead singer says. William Beckett gives him a little look like, whoa, this guy means business.
Is that the look that
yeah, that is the look that the YouTube commenter was referencing. They do share a moment. And that's kind of the only direct lyrical reference, other than Travie a little bit later talking about
lizard
we'll
people.
get into it or whatever. Yeah, turbulence and stuff. It's all loosely related, but that's the only time I think like they're just like, okay, one of the lines has to say snakes on a plane. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I'll ask you this, because I don't think we've ever covered this on the show or had a airport-based music video to discuss, other than Forever the Sickest Kids, but they were on a runway. So, but I'm just going to open it wide open, Tom. Thoughts on being at an airport?
It's just like being at an airport.
Yeah, just anything you got.
Terrible. I hate it.
Wow.
Well, okay.
All hate all the time from you as far as airports go.
The Denver airport is one of the worst structures ever built in the history of civilization. It's so hard to get anywhere to know how to get.
You are the king of hyperbole, my guy. The Denver airport is the worst building in the history of buildings. I would just guess that's not true. But I love how passionate you are about most items.
It was a terrible experience.
But also, like, do you actually have that much hate in your heart for the Denver airport?
Yes, I do.
Damn,
I could never get out of the building. I could never be on the right part of the parking garage for pickup or, take off, whatever. I will say, cheap flights to pretty much anywhere, but I hated that fucking place so much.
Sorry to just ask you to tell a story and then pick it apart, but that's also kind of the show. But the part that made me laugh was you're like, there's like pickup or was it drop off or whatever. Like there's a third option or something.
Well, no, there's like, okay.
I didn't know who was coming and going. Sorry. Like it confuses me too, but the way you said it made me laugh.
There's 4 floors to this airport, and you have to like, if you're like, so for example, Megan is flying somewhere, you had to like be on the right floor. And if you like kind of fucked up, you had to do this like 17-minute loop all the way back around.
You hate that loop. It's a tough loop.
And you were not allowed to park anywhere. So if they weren't ready, you just had to keep driving and driving and driving. And to get off of the airplane to like pick up, it was like a 20-minute walk. You had to go like upstairs, downstairs, up an escalator, and then like it takes you off by like baggage claim, but in order to get picked up, you had to go down a different flight of stairs, which is like somewhere off to the side. It was terrible. And like no one ever knew how to get out of that place. There were no signs anywhere. Terrible. But anyway, I got TSA pre-check. So 8 years or whatever of getting onto a plane pretty easily, which is nice. They just let you take anything on. Snakes, guitar case full of snakes, take them.
Whoa.
But
that sounds awesome, dude. Whoa. I'll have to get some snakes and bring them on a plane. No, people are as passionate about TSA PreCheck as the people who listen to this show were about getting us to do a Cobra Starship episode, which is to say fucking very passionate. But yes, so they're here and they are all, helping Eddie Kim in this scenario, who is the fictional villain of the movie. Kind of the main example of this. It's not like the story isn't very long or intricate for the video, nor is the movie itself. So these, synergy is still occurring here. No one's doing the heavy lifting. It's like, who's helping who? It's like, I don't think either's trying to help anybody, but they are helping Eddie Kim in this scenario by sneaking snakes onto a plane, which when I say it, it's like, yeah, no wonder it's only that, because that really is all it needs to be. So they put him in briefcases in a guitar case, and Iverson distracts the security guy with, I guess you would say, the female form, so to speak, right? She's getting through. This is like post 9/11 security lines, so they have to, do the belt, the shoe stuff. She is using that process to distract this guy who looks away from the screen just long enough for a briefcase fucking full of snakes, to like a comical amount of snakes, so vividly, like so visible on the screen. Like it's not like little blurbs under shampoo and shit. It is only snakes spaced perfectly wide enough that you could tell that it's plenty of snakes. But luckily for them, he's looking at her, and then she gives him a wink. The guitar case floats on by, and they're in business. Have you ever, and it made me wonder, because you've been a touring musician of sorts throughout your years at here and there, Did you ever carry anything other than a guitar in a guitar case, and why? What was the situation there?
I don't think so. The only thing that comes to mind is when we used to hang out in the band storage room and we would put each other in like the cello cases and spin each other around as fast as possible. That was fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But no, nothing with guitar cases. I don't know. Zach and I used to like walk up to Rita's Italian Ice and busk playing brand new songs, and we would walk home with guitars and, for a 17-year-old, copious amounts of cash in the case, because you got to use the case as your tip receptacle. But
thoughts on people that are pretty like showy about having unconventional luggage at an airport or on a bus or on a train or anything like that? Just like, I'm pretty much a music person. You can tell by my music case and lack of other luggage.
I don't know what other option they'd have.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you could have fucking checked it. Damn. Like, nobody cares. Also, that's going to take up so much space in the overhead bin. Like, what show are you possibly playing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not with the band, I don't know. It's always kind of bugged me a little bit. I really don't have a good reason to. Music's a beautiful thing. We do an actual podcast about it. But there's something about somebody not with a band, just kind of casually traveling with an obscurely sized musical case that kind of really bugs me. I can't really explain it because they're never unpleasant. It's just kind of like, oh, is it? Do you not have regular luggage? Is that a guitar? Oh, I would not. Oh my God. It's really probably the worst character trait about me, or at least top 15. But I can't explain it. It draws my ire in a large way, in a big way. Anyway, yeah, just before the 2-minute mark, they're past security, they're walking through, but they don't go unnoticed. Somebody sees them, and who is that person?
Mr. Lick the Finger and Salute Pete Wentz.
Whoa. But he doesn't lick the finger and salute them here. He looks a little spooked. He's like, whoa, there's something up with these guys.
Is that a guitar case on Coach? Asshole.
I know, damn. Hey, where's your band, asshole?
Yeah, is he supposed to be a part of the storyline, or is he just someone
someone kick you out of your band because you emptied out a bunch of tour bus shit on somebody on a boat tour in Chicago? Dave Matthews, asshole.
I mean, is Pete supposed to be part of the story, or is he just slowly looking up so people can be like, oh, it's Pete?
I think at this point, we're just in the greater extended Fall Out Boy cinematic universe. We're talking, this would be like the Guardians of the Galaxy equivalent, or something like that, I guess. I don't know. If the greater Fall Out Boy cinematic universe, this would be one of the more obscure properties, if I had to say. This would be not James Gunn's Suicide Squad, but like the first one that nobody liked, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. That's too mean. He is talking on a payphone, though. Any payphone memories? Let's get reminiscent. And if you're new, we say that every week. We say, let's get reminiscent when we're about to have a specific set of memories.
I mean, there was definitely one at the bowling alley where I used to go every Saturday morning, and I do remember using it. I think the only like weird phone memory, so this would have been, oh God, what Adam Sandler movie is it where he calls his dad, like, this is a collect call from your baby boy? And
all of them.
And Corey,
I say that like I'm not an Adam Sandler fan. I would watch it gleefully, even if it was in every one of them.
What was it? Oh man, that's gonna bother me. Anyway, Corey, my stepbrother at the time, called collect, saying it was your baby boy, and I had never like received a collect call before, and for some reason I thought it was like someone from jail calling. And I was like, oh my God, what does someone from jail want with me? But like, I don't know. I don't have any specific, no good payphones.
Growing up, I had like a fear of burning alive, of course, buried in a coffin alive, duh, drowning, duh, like your basics. Then dreams with teeth fall out, all that stuff, all that basic like light anxiety stuff. But I always had a little bit of a fear since that Colin Farrell movie where he answers a payphone call and the whole movie is about him being on that call and his life changes or whatever for the worse in like a violent, dangerous way. I just never wanted to be near one as it rang mysteriously. It never happened, obviously, but I've always been like, that can't be for me, can it? I don't know. Like, definitely grew up with that being like a moderate fear of mine, even though I was rarely walking by one. Like, Erie or Lawrence Park wasn't exactly a bustling metropolis. And I think
Right.
I enjoyed it for that reason, because maybe that's why I enjoyed growing up in Lawrence Park so much. I was rarely near a payphone that could have resulted in my death.
Probably makes sense.
Yes. Then Travie comes onto the track. Travie McCoy from the Gym Class Heroes, upstate New York's finest, or flyest, I should say.
Ew. Oh.
Here's the verse. Ladies and gentlemen, these snakes is Slytherin, with dollar signs in their eyes, with tongues so reptilian. This industry's venomous, with cold-blooded sentiments. No need for nervousness. It's just a little bit of turbulence. Does he save the song? Did the song need to be saved?
The chorus, even after listening to the song only twice, maybe 3 times, I could sing you the chorus. I could not sing you any of the other verses that Travie was not on. So he definitely lended a pretty good helping hand to it. I'll say that. I think it's fun.
Is it unfair to Cobra Starship fans that we're only going to talk about them this calendar year and possibly over the next 5 calendar years through the lens of Snakes on a Plane associated with them as a band?
I don't know.
Do you feel any remorse?
Well, I mean, pairing with the video was intentional to piggyback off of its success. So what, are they going to be mad that it worked? That they're like maybe most well known for the Snakes on a Plane collaboration?
No, I guess I'm just saying, like, it wasn't, I don't know. Do we have a duty as the people who do this show to properly discuss Cobra Starship during this episode through like an objective lens? But it's hard to. There's so much other shit happening. There is like so many other people and storylines that are not related at all to like Cobra Starship's like arc in the world, in life. So it's interesting, because I don't think we're going to leave this knowing any more or less about Cobra Starship necessarily, other than that they did Good Girls Go Bad, which was featuring somebody else as well. But like, we need to at least address the Samuel L. Jackson stuff, you know, and yeah, I'm just kind of like, do we owe anybody an apology, or is this just kind of what Cobra Starship's, what life was like for Cobra Starship and his fans, just kind of like splashy, featuring dancey funness, which isn't, it's not a sin to have fun. I don't even think I'm mad about it. I'm just like, should we be talking about this? Should we be taking this more seriously? And then Samuel L. Jackson's just in the music video, and I'm like, nah, maybe, probably not. Maybe not that.
Right.
That
like,
seriously.
I feel like the question that you're asking is like, should we give them more credit than treating them like a gimmick? But I think they might have seen themselves as a gimmick, you know?
Well,
just like,
I mean, the algorithm on YouTube definitely puts a ton of 303 shit right after this video. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't think we're making a ton of this stuff up. And the song's perfectly fun and fine. And good.
It's a good song.
It might even be good.
But is it only because of William Beckett?
That's a fucking fair question. Hit us up on Twitter @_MinusandFM if you agree or disagree with whether or not William Beckett just makes life better for most Americans. Also in this music video, as we mentioned, Samuel L. Jackson, who plays Neville Flynn, the main protagonist of the movie Snakes on a Plane, makes his little cameo, lowering his shades and eyeing the band members as they pass. I think you get a little hint that he knows something's up, but he's not quite sure what yet. He is, of course, in the movie, the person trying to get these monkey fighting snakes off this Monday to Friday plane. But apparently in the video, he's wearing an unofficial Snakes on a Plane t-shirt designed by web comic artist Jeffrey Rowland with snakes flying a plane. So that's pretty fun. Yeah.
All you can see in the music video on YouTube is a blur of white pixels, but
yeah, whoever added that factoid had some deeper knowledge than we could have glistened? No, I don't know. Thoughts on, and then they all sit down waiting at their gate. Thoughts on crossing your legs when you sit? That's right, people. We're dragging this out. They all sit down and they all cross their legs in different ways. And I want to know how Tom Kelly feels about crossing his legs when he sits.
Yeah, as a man with a male anatomy, it can be tricky in some positions, but I enjoy a good, I'm a right leg over the left leg kind of guy. Like, I cross them high up at the thighs. It's nice. I feel like it's, I feel like it is understated. Like, if you want to be like a fucking douchebag man, take up as much space as possible, right? But there's something about like, you know what? I'm going to make myself as small as possible because I don't need to give on this outward show that I'm insecure about my size. I can like, look, maybe this is like a little bit of like an effeminate pose, but that's okay because I'm comfortable with myself. I dig it.
Yeah, I like the knee to knee more than I like the ankle to knee, because the ankle to knee puts more pressure on my bending knee than knee to knee puts on the anatomy situation you referenced earlier. So that's pretty much what I was fishing for, and you hit me with exactly what I was hoping to hear. So I'm like, yeah, I'm also comfortable with that, because why wouldn't you be? You're just sitting. If you're in an airport, you're probably not maybe you are in high spirits. Maybe you're having the best fucking vacation of your life. That'd be great. But sometimes you're missing a flight. Maybe you're a little grumpy. Maybe the coffee and bagel wasn't quite worth the $13 you paid for it. And you're like, I don't care how I sit. All I know is that, I'm about, 1 15-minute delay away from just laying the on the floor anyway. So I'm just going to sit how I'm going to sit.
I've been there.
I've been on the floor several times. A lot of going from Albuquerque to Cleveland was a lot of flying, a lot of miles to cover, a lot of exhaustion. Let's say this. Oh, yeah. Video ends assigned for South Pacific Airlines. Flight 121 is the band board. Same flight as in the film. What's interesting is as Travi's rapping, he's playing a desk worker, but he's also one of the villains in this music video. Thoughts on that creative choice to have him be kind of the only Nutty Professor situation in this whole video where he's just multiple characters? Or I guess you could say Austin Powers situation. There's plenty of examples there, but he's just kind of playing two roles and they don't expand on it a ton, but I like it. But yeah, I mean, he closes the video by saying, I suggest you grab your ankles and kiss your ass goodbye. So he's kind of like checking himself onto the flight because like he's also the villain, like we said. So I don't know. Any thoughts on that? I was kind of like, wait, were they all two different people? And they definitely weren't.
I mean, I think, wasn't there something in the movie about people were, it was an inside job at some point. So maybe they were just kind of trying to get a little glimpse of that like, maybe someone checking the luggage is also the one trying to get the snake on the plane, but I didn't even notice it. So they didn't handle that one with too much care, maybe, but I didn't notice that he was two people at all. Maybe if I watched it a third time, I may have caught that.
Perhaps. Well, yeah, I think that's it. I don't think we have a ton to add, and I'm sorry if this did not live up to expectations, but
how could it possibly?
I mean, we are going to try to hit the ones you guys want, but I think we're pretty transparent about the ones we're ill prepared for and why we've been avoiding certain ones. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it does not. I didn't feel in this moment like it went great. I feel like, I'm feeling pretty self-conscious about it, if I'm being honest. We do have a post-show we promised all of you involving me being impeached multiple times as a student class president in high school, and why my yearbook quote was heavily policed for adjacent reasons. So sit back and relax and enjoy if you're a Patreon supporter. Regardless, we're very glad that you're here, and we love you all. Thanks for listening and supporting the show in that way.
Let's give a song of the week before we...
Let's do it. I'm going to do I Want to Bite Your Face by Eve 6. It's kind of like I Feel It Still by Portugal the Man almost, where it's just kind of like, is a hit song, but like, why should that or does that matter? It's kind of like a very palatable, like, it feels like a very safe hit. Like, of course it's fine. I don't know. For as like all over the place he is on Twitter, I just like, this feels like a very, maybe they're just getting back on the map with something very like understandable before they like come out too hot in some other, I guess it's also tough for like a 90s era band to like.
This is new music?
I think so, yeah. Yeah,
nice.
Track 2 on their EP, Grim Value. Yeah, Eve 6. It's good. You'll have to listen. There's like a pretty simple bassliney song, good punky, I guess vibe. But it's not bad, but it's like, it's very palatably good, and I'll have to listen to the rest of the EP before I say anything, but it's just kind of like, again, I feel the same way, but I Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. It is also good, but like, it doesn't feel like Portugal the Man. It just feels like something I'd hear at a mall. So like, I'm curious where they go from here because I'm glad they're doing stuff, but I don't know how to feel about this particular tune that I came across on Twitter the other day.
All right. I've been able to listen to nothing but Chunk No Captain Chunk for the past month. But off of their 2015 album, Get Lost, Find Yourself, the opening track, Playing Dead, is like one of the coolest guitar riffs ever. When I get my baritone guitar in, this is going to be the song I'm trying to play the most. I'm trying to get it on like my current Les Paul, but it's not the same in C sharp. So trying to get it down so when I get the guitar tuned down to drop A sharp, I can shred this song. It's so fun. Great album opener. Kyle Black's production is super good. And yeah, definitely not a new song by any stretch of the imagination, but I love it.
Also, if you missed our episode with the lead singer of Chunk, check it out. It's a good one.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, to the post show. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks. Sorry. And
yes, I think if there was ever a time for what I'm about to say, it is now. Apologies to everybody for everything, as always. All right. Bye, everybody. Love you, Tom.
Bye. Love you too, man. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode. You know I gotta say it. I'm so sorry for everything. We just butcher all your favorite bands and couldn't apologize enough. Please tell us how terrible we are at _Reminiscent FM, and you can check the show notes at reminiscentpodcast.com. We truly, truly love you all and cherish you all so much. We'll talk to you next week with a really fun episode. Can't wait for you all to hear it. Thank you all so much. Bye, everyone.